Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo. It's Monday, ooh. A new week, ooh. Let's fucking go. Paint, paint. Sip, sip. Rant goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Sip, rant, goo, rant, sip. Speaking of which. Painting goo 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 goo. Sip, 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 sip. Rant, 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 goo. Sip, sip, rant, goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. I need to stop smoking. Painting goo. Painting goo. Glorious. Isn't he beautiful? Painting goo. Goo, goo, goo. Piano praying monkey. Pray that piano, Myro. You filthy chimp. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Sip rant goo. Painting goo. Goo 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 goo. Bring it home, Myro. Do it for the filthy mortars. Remind these honorous foreign dogs what honor is and beauty. Painting goo. Painting goo. Let's fucking goo. It's painting. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Enough! Enough of you, monkey. If any of you mortars have any honor left in your filthy mortar sores, you will tip the monkey. You will place a tip, a currency, coinage in the monkey's bowlage. Or he will die. He will succumb to starvation. For I do not feed him. I barely clothe him. He simply prays the piano for me. Greetings, konnichiwa, dear Gwit, and welcome, Farcha, to another glorious episode of Paintingu with I, your glorious demi-divine host, Defenderu, demigod of Paintingu. Without my demi-divine kimono and headband. It's in the wash. Okay? One of the many vexes that I have been subjugated to, that I have been exposed to since my far from Chinese heaven. Since my banishment by the Monkey King. I sweat. Therefore, the clothing after a few paintingus, gets pretty nasty. It needs a wash. It needs a clean, a deep cleansing. Speaking of which, brother Tobias, my feathery friend, shall we cleanse these filthy mortars of their dirty chi? I think we shall. Glorious. A ding of my tiny dong to cleanse your foreign dog sore. Feeble mortar sore. I'm sure you're a wonderful human being. Pathetic mortar. My bitterness, it does come through. But what do you expect of a former god, now demigod? Banished, rerogated. To here, earthworm. It is okay. It's fine. It's passable. It's absolutely nothing compared to Chinese heaven, which is just stunning and glorious. There's cherry blossoms everywhere. Here, the supposed praise of romance and beauty, aka Paris, excuse me, while I descend into proper paintingu posture, is filthy. So filthy. Demonically filthy. Paris, for lack of a better term, is a shithole. You heard it here on Paintingu. Paris is a shithole. A big one. A beautiful shithole. A paradox in beauty. Foreigners. Destitution. Debauchery. Degradation. Degeneration. Filth. But it is all taking place within beautiful countrysides and ancient architecture. I have recently become slightly obsessed with the correlations between demons and crowns. Not crowns as in those things you put on your head, but crowns as in the scary funny fuckers with the makeup. Speaking Japu, much like speaking English, can often result in fuck-ups, phonetically. Some words sound like the same word, but explain a completely different thing. I say crowns, you think pointy hat made of gold. But what I mean is scary makeup fucker laughing at children crying. Oh, my beloved Japanites, how are we? Are we well? Indeed, Tuakeru's energy is glorious. It was missed! Where were you? Catching fish? Shooting things? Both. Glorious giant blue wrenches unite. I should do like a group painting of like Forias with like blue wrenches in bear form or some shit. I want to do more bear sketches. I want to do more bear drawings because I was looking there the other day. Sleep deprived bear, metal bear, solver bear. Yeah, I think that's it. So there's three of them who actually like they use the profile pic that they're still using the profile pic that I drew for them, which is awesome. But I'd love to do more of them. Like the one I did for Juju isn't like her as a bear; it's her three chickens like as cartoons. I was actually quite happy with how it came out. I should I should put all that stuff on like a file or Telegram or something so I can bring it up, on stream when I'm talking about that shit. But yeah, I was looking at that stuff the other day. I was like, yeah, I should like. Just that the tactical turtles have like taken over my life the past like 8 weeks or something. More even. How long am I doing tactical turtles now? It all started off with me drawing like just a couple. It all started off with a sketch of a turtle with like a GI American GI helmet with the fucking straps coming down, and like my own version of a silenced pistol, and then his big army boots, And I only realized there the other day that I've completely scrapped the big black army boots for like all the designs. But I've made good progress on the fucking what's it called? I don't even know what my own creations are called. That's how much of a fucking professional I am. 2 seconds. I know I put it in the, or did I? No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Thought I put that one in the Telegram. But I did not. I suppose it just comes up on the screen if I could just put it up on my phone. I laughed my head off the first time I seen Owen do that, where he just like put something on his phone and put it on the laptop, and like I remember back in the day when you tried to like record things over your phone that were like on a screen, you'd get this mad like flicker effect and shit, whatever like frequency or like hertz or refresh rate was going on. Like the old cameras on like a Nokia 3210 or something like couldn't pick it up. It was like maybe it's just me. I don't know if anybody else remembers that shit. But these days it can the cameras and the phones don't seem to interfere with each other that much. What am I doing? Photos, that's what I'm doing. Okay. Gallery. Saying gallery in Japu just sounds like you're saying Gary in a weird way. Yeah, so I did some more shading work on the blind fire. Isn't that what I was going to call them? Blind fire? Or what was the other one? Sonar cannon. So, oh, there we go. I'm shit at this. Hold on, I'm going to turn this off for a sec. There, you can see that way better now. I'm shit at framing them. But I did more work on that this morning, did a bit more shading, added a bit more colour, especially on the belly and the helmet and stuff. And I think that's good enough. And I'm going to move on to the last one, finally. The sixth one. The one with the sledgehammer and the juggernaut armour. The melee turtle. The fucking breach and swing turtle. Not breach and clear. Breach and swing. Oh shit. Oh! Glorious Gapu! From Defenderoo. Yeah, they've fucking consumed my life the past few weeks. In a good way, you know. Gets me drawing. Gets my cogs turning. I've had an extremely productive day today. Been up since 7:15, which is the earliest I've been up in like a week or two. Got up 7:15, and I just got up. None of this like lying in the bed being like, oh God, I don't want to do life today. I just got up. I just went about my business, organised things. So I've been up a while already, and I've gotten some character design shit done. I didn't get to doing any symmetrical work done, but the work I did get done today, I'm satisfied with. Recorded it, took photos, so I can use that to promote it and shit. It's all very like a lot of the aspects of actually trying to be a professional artist are like innately alien to me. I'm just like I'm very similar to Owen. I'm not a natural when it comes to business or marketing or any of these things. Like the general logistics of actually doing a business and stuff. I'm just like, I just wing shit because I do shit like with feeling, do it with feeling, say it with your chest, little ass nigga. Which is like, it's the same reason why I was like bullied at school for being a weirdo is the same reason why the teachers picked me to be the head of the play, because I was mad compared to the other kids. Like, you know what I mean? I was fucking off me head, like. But it's because I think some people just have that. Like some people are just natural fucking, or maybe it's not that some people. Maybe I experienced or didn't experience something, that other people did. Like the average person does, because I just don't have that same. Like Owen says, he doesn't have it at all. I have it. I definitely get like nervous before I'm like talking in front of a crowd or like if I'm about to do something. Which I'm sure he still does, like, do you know what I mean? But I get where he's coming from, where he said he like just doesn't have it, because I feel like that most of the time. But it's like if I was 100% honest with myself, it's like there's still that faint aroma of fear, just kind of latent in the back of my mind. But like I'm so like
in the moment and overwhelmed by like how like this is the way I see it, right? We all know that like there's a fundamental reason for the way things have been going and the way they are since we were born. You know, since you become aware of how things work. Really, the first major thing for most people is like Santa Claus isn't real. So that's a paradigm shift where you're like, okay, so hold on a minute. So not everything people says that's real is real. Okay, do you know, and like fucks with your head and shit. Like, especially when you're one of those kids like me who like knows before the other kids, and you're like looking around being like, it's all lies. Like they don't know, and they never believe me. It's crazy. It's all fucking crazy. But it's like I just have this like I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the exact same. Like a lot of people in the bear community and in other communities, not just the bear community, feel the exact same. Where it's like this like gnawing notion, this knowing. It's not a feeling. Do you know what I mean? It's not like sadness or anger or like any of these things that can come upon you like and influence you. Like it's something else. It's like just this faint, ever present like knowing of like, for example, like when like what I said a minute ago, when you wake up and you're lying in bed and you're like, oh god, like part of you, generally me anyway, is like, oh, I just want to stay in bed. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't know. Maybe I suffer from chronic fatigue or something. I don't fucking. I wouldn't be surprised. Look at me, I'm fairly gaunt. Like always got bags under my eyes and shit. Um, but I didn't have that this morning, as much anyway. You know, still a little bit there, but not really. Like you know, it was very easy to just be like, right, I'm up, let's go. Like, um, but when you give in to those things, when you have the Kit Kat, when you like you know fucking have too many beers or like any of these things, like you know, there's that like there's a part of you that knows. There's a part of you that's sitting there like taking notes and shaking its head. Do you know what I mean? There's a part of me anyway that's just like, oh nigga, like oh god, like you know, it's like a cop taking notes, being like, you know, if only he like when he realizes how much he's fucking up right now, he's going to fucking like snap, like you know. And I do, like you know, we all do. Like when like you get to a point in life where something happens, you're like, fuck, why didn't I do X, Y, and Z? You know, like it's like you could have, you know. It's all a choice. Everything is like I know it sounds crazy because it sounds crazy even when I say it to myself, even though I know it to be true because I've experienced it. But it's a choice to be angry. It's a choice to be sad. Do you know what I mean? Like first thing that came to my mind there is that fucking when all that shit happened in the, was it Gaza? I think it was Gaza. Where, like all the shit was happening in Gaza, and there was this guy on a rescue boat or something, and like his 4 sons had been killed in a bombing or something, and he was like, I refuse to weep, like you know it is God's will or some shit, like you know he was like he wasn't succumbing to despair despite his kids just being murdered in a fucking you know international conflict. Other you know most normies, sheep, NPCs, people, whatever you want to call them, like would be like, and even there's a part of myself that feels like that where it's like, is that not choosing to like in a way like not be human? Because like the human thing is to be like, oh god, what the fuck, but like that's what we're like kind of brought up to believe, you know. Oh, all of these things, you know, they're very human. Well, if we're to take on the overarching concept of like conspiracies and truther realm and all this shit of like they're lying to you about everything, we live in an inverted realm, all this fuck, and the same people, so like everything they told you is inverted but with a little bit of truth in it in order for it to work, right? So what if like being susceptible to emotions isn't a human trait? What if it's an animal trait? It's like, well, animals don't even feel emotions. Fuck off, yeah they do. Dogs get sad. There's animals that like weep when a fucking mate dies. There's animals that'll stop eating when their mate dies and shit. Animals have feelings. Animals like totally have emotions. All it is like, you know, arguably like changes in your frequency and your hormone levels, like in response to your environment and what's happening and shit. Like so, like I think you can make an argument that like, you know, on this part, like, you know, don't get me wrong, I can already imagine people being like, what, so like equilibrium? No, I'm not talking like no emotion. But to be human is to have dominion not just over yourself and your environment, but also your emotions and your mind and shit. Would be my argument, like, do you know what I mean? To be made in his image or whatever, like, you know, to be like full of our potential, you know, what we're actually capable of. I mean, if placebos fucking work, you can just be like, I don't have cancer, and you don't have cancer. Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of shit. Like, I can lift this car, and you lift it. I know it's like it's not a common thing, you know, but it's also not necessarily a rare thing. People just do mad shit in moments, like, do you know what I mean? The mind is a very, very powerful thing, like, you know, like your own brain can like fuck with you, your memory, like your eyesight, like everything, like, you know, you ever smell something and it like snaps you back to a memory, like, I remember, I think I heard recently where like that's actually the most powerful memory associative, like, you know, brain function that we have is like you smell something, you're like, oh my god, Nana's cookies. I remember in 1923 when the Nazis bust into the rooms and shit. Like, I know in 1923 Nazis doesn't match up, but whatever. I'm just talking shit. But like the overall point I have is like, is it not like argue like does it not make logical and rational sense that like being human is to not be susceptible to influence? Because like, man, the whole demonology and clown shit and fucking Little Season and like just all of it, like all the truther shit I've heard over the last like fucking 7-8 odd years, it's all starting to like culminate into this one thing of like fucking parasites and demons, man. Like, you know, parasites, demons, and esoterica. Oh my. Like, there's some crazy amount of correlation between like, you know, what we describe as evil and then like the way parasites work and all that shit. Like, it's just fascinating to me how like your choices matter so much, and like your will, your allegedly God-given free will, you know, it's fascinating to me to, and this is why I love being a gamer, is like developing that third person. I've spoken about this before, developing that third person perspective of you in your own life, so you could like watch your own behaviors and correct course when needed, you know. You should always be doing that, like, you know, not always, not every minute of the day, obviously. You don't want to like live vicariously through yourself, which would be a weird one. But like, I thought the way a lot of people behave, like way most people these days behave, is like, you know, like they're on like autopilot. They're just like they're just in a tunnel. They're just going. Whereas like I feel like I move through life with like a fucking like almost like a sixth sense of like just like stuff to the left of me, stuff behind me, stuff to the right. Like a lot of people look and behave like they only see from one perspective. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's like ideological or like, you know, fucking primarily driven by like some kind of addiction or some shit. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just this like one thing. Whereas like, you know, there's all sorts of perspectives to look at it from, and then there's the argument of which one is like the most accurate, you know, not necessarily right and stuff. Like that's what I'm into. Like that's what I'm supposed to like. I suppose I'm trying to describe right now is like I have a very meta way of looking at things, and I do that intentionally because I'm like, logically, if I only look at it from my perspective on a personal, like, you know, arguably narcissistic level, and I'm not aware of all these other perspectives, then like I can't be as accurate, you know? And like maybe that's an argument for like why God did all this in the first place, is like accuracy. You know? To be like, I need as many perspectives as conceptually possible to see my creation from as many angles as possible to be able to make it better. You know? Like what if God is just a data farm? Like, What if God is just like mining data, whatever, like, you know, he just creates all this shit and then just like gives it autonomy and watches it play out, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, like, I can imagine him like doing hot fixes, you know, like all the time. He's like omnipotently present, you know, and like evil's like, it's like the anomaly in his creation is evil, is Satan or whatever. Or maybe he did, like, I wouldn't be surprised if God created it on purpose, you know, to be like, I need something to oppose me, because otherwise I'm just like playing on my own. So I need something to oppose me. So I'm going to create this thing that is like almost as good as me, but just not quite. It's like giving someone like 49% of the shareholder of a company. It's like, you can do a lot of shit, but you can't wreck the whole game because I made the game, you know? It's my game. But I've given you like all of these like all of these rules of authority and these capabilities, like, you know, I've granted you authority over all these things. Bar this, you know? And I suppose if you do look at it from Lucifer's perspective, like, part of you would be like, hey, what the fuck, man? Like, so, like, I think it's hilarious and so true when you look at Satan or Lucifer or it or the dark or whatever as, like, you know, the ultimate gamma, the ultimate like little fucking jealous, like envious little shithead, fucking pride and all, like a proud, jealous, and how funny is that? Like, it's just like a paradox of fuck, like proudly envious, you know, like it's fucked. I don't know. I'm fucking rambling to fuck because my mind's just on fire. When I was getting ready this morning, well, not this morning, like just I was getting ready for the day this morning. I got up at like 7:15, like I said, but I didn't start work till 9, so like got a bit of bite to eat. You know, did my qigong for a while. I was just watching demonology shit, like that fucking what's his name? What's the channel's name? Understanding Conspiracy. Been watching a lot of his stuff lately. He's been talking to a lot of different people about the whole the Nephilim look like clowns thing and the little season. Fascinating stuff, you know. Like, it really does make a lot of sense when you're like, why is shit so fucked up? But it's like, it's because Satan's in charge right now. It's like, do you know what? Like, you don't really need it. You don't really need to go in anymore in the weeds or in the details of that. Like, it's just like the thing all known nations and cultures personify as evil incarnate is in control of the realm right now, and that's why everything is so shit. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. But then, like, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just like autistic, or maybe I'm just like maybe I have some kind of like trauma issue that I haven't picked up on yet. But like, I'm so speculative. Like, I'm so spatula. So spatulative. I'm so untrusting. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so like, every time a new bit of info comes out, I'm like, sounds good, great, okay. Where's the proof? You know, like, show me. Even if it's like, if it's good or bad, like, do you know what I mean? Everything that comes out, I'm like, okay, maybe. That's what I love, that Chinese parable thing, you know, like, oh my god, this is horrible. Maybe. Oh my god, this is great. Maybe. You know, like, like, and then there's that saying that, like, everything that happens is for a good reason. Even the awful shit inevitably leads to a beautiful and good purpose. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me, like, you know, because, like, we're raised to believe that death is like a fucking, you know, foreboding, intimidating, horrible thing. Like, you know, like, oh no, I don't want to die. Like, but if nothing died, it couldn't come back. Like, you know, it'd just be there. Like, it all makes sense to me when you're like, it has to, like, there has to be, like, it has to move. Do you know what I mean? If there's no movement, it just sits, and if it just sits, there's no growth. Like, you know, nothing happens. It's just fucking. Like, I remember saying that to one of the a former bear in one of the first meetups we had. He was like, we were talking about free will, or you know, like, and he was like, why would you create something and then give it free will? Why would you give it autonomy? And I was like, because without free will, it's just a machine. It's just a thing, you know. It's just a machine that does stuff, you know. You want it to be alive, like as far as like, so like the most alive is probably God. Do you know what I mean? Like meta alive. Do you know? Because like we're all like experiencing life from one perspective each. Now you can conceptualize and like do what people like me try to do, where like you're like okay, logically and rationally and creatively and imaginatively use my mind to uh, emulate or as accurately as I possibly can imitate someone's perspective to relate to them on a deeper, more profound level and to like to understand them more accurately. Do you know what I mean? But like you're never actually going to be, unless you can do some fucking uh astral projection shit where you're like actually in their body, looking through their eyes, feeling what they feel and all. And like I believe there's a lot of weird shit that goes on. But I also believe that it becomes more real the more you believe in it, because like I believe in the power of the mind, you know. So like I don't know if like an exorcism is necessarily like some kind of horned demon called Beelzebub is like literally inhabiting a woman, and like a priest comes in and is like, no patros Jesus Christi expelliarmus, like and the demon's like and like leaves her, and it's like all like real. Or does it become manifest because we believe in it? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like fascinating to me how like, and it was this guy I was listening to on this thing called What Lurks Beneath. He was interviewing a demonologist, and he said this thing where he's like, what we've discovered through all of our research anyway is that like through all the cultures, through all the ages, it's like the faceless man from Game of Thrones. It's like evil is just evil. Like these demons, these entities, this intellect, this consciousness, whatever the fuck it is, just takes whatever form it has to take to fuck you up and feed off you. And the first thing that came to mind was the xenomorph of the aliens. Because remember in the movie fucking Prometheus, where the android, is it called David? I can't remember. The android is like fucking around with the black goo, and the black goo is like it's like sperm. It's like black genetic matter that whatever it comes in contact with, it like merges with. Do you know what I mean? And like uses its body as a host. It's a parasite, like, but it's like a biologically it's an alchemically manufactured biological weapon in the form of a mutating parasite. Like, it was David, was it? Thank you. Sarah, welcome back. That's the first thing that came to my mind was like, just and think about it. It's like that makes a lot of sense. Like if you're like the ultimate evil, and your purpose is to like test the creation, or at least test man anyway. You would like take all of these different forms and put all these different masks on and put all these different like. And here's what really popped into my mind. What's the saying of the fucking current like the globo homo thing? Diversity is our strength, because he said that as well. He was like the diversity of faces and names of all this stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you get the 7 deadly sins and all. It's all one thing, evil. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think James Cameron could be trying to, maybe, like, obviously I don't know, but like that to me seems like he's trying to capture what like if evil was actually like a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, like you fucking like embody evil as like this manufactured, like, think like, that actually makes a lot of sense, where somebody made something it's like designed to take out like planets. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what if that was the reason why God created Lucifer specifically, Like, creates all these angels, creates all these like things, and they all have a specific purpose, right? And like most of it is like beautiful and inspiring and like just fantastic and all these amazing things. But then he creates this one thing that is the polar opposite to everything he just created, you know? And the purpose of it is because if you're God, you don't have anything outside yourself to gain more of a perspective. You just have you. So, like, sure, but he's God. He's all powerful. He's omnipotent. He's everywhere and everything and all that. But maybe God has still got a limit, you know? He's way beyond our capabilities, but he's still got, like, a space that he dwells within, you know? There's a limit to, like, his governance or some shit. So, when he creates, you know, the universe or whatever, or all these different realms, you know, in the vast cosmos or whatever it is, like, and then he makes it, and then he gives it autonomy, and then it's like a giant clock, and it all just like works in sync, and there's like grand cycles and all this shit, and then he's sitting there looking at it like a painter would at a painting, and we'd be like, how can I do better? How can I make this better? How can I improve upon this? You know? And if you're a fucking omnipotent entity, you probably would come to the conclusion of like, I need to create something that's like another me that I can like compete with, because competition would force me to get better, you know? I think that's how, like, I think that could be it. It was like omnipotent being, according to, like, from our perspective, you know, a very powerful being creates a creation and then sits there, and you say on the seventh day he rested, all right? So you're God, you've made all this shit, and now you're resting. What do you do when you rest? You contemplate, you ponder, you think, you wonder. Like, what would God be wondering about? You'd be like, how can I make another one? Can I make a better one? Like, what if that's... I imagine that as, like, that's what all the realms are. Earth realm, nether realm, fucking heaven, hell, soul, Sheol, whatever these fucking, you know... whatever these, like, frequency zones, like, do you know what I mean? It's, like, really cold here, it's really hot here, it's, like, demons live here, fucking angels live here, fucking, like, you know, aliens, greys, like... What if it's all just iterations of the same fundamental thing, where you just have this like pure energy consciousness being that is just like, boom, creates a bubble, you know, in the vast blackness, creates a light, just goes ping, and it's like, okay, so that one's going to be like this, and that one's going to be like this, and that one's going to be like this. And like, if somebody like me can like be 30 years of age, and I could come up with, like, you give me a few years, I could come up with an insane amount of stuff, if you're talking like world building and planets and all, but they'd all have fundamental similarities, no matter how imaginative I am, no matter how good I am, like, you know. So even a god would have its limits, as far as I'm concerned anyway. Like, it would make sense for it to be like, okay, well, how do I... Because, like, if you're completely, like... He's omnipotent to us, but surely, like, there's always a bigger fish. Like, what if the thing that governs God is existence itself? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, because God is still only, like... Well, you know, they would argue that, like, God is every perspective. God is in everything. He's omnipresent and all that stuff. Like, but, like, it does that even make sense? But then there's the argument of, like, your feeble mortal mind cannot comprehend the totality of God. Like, it's like, that sounds a bit demonic to me. Like, do you know what I mean? Because if you were a benevolent entity that was omnipotent, surely you'd be able to distill it into, like you wouldn't even need to speak. You wouldn't even need to be able to, like, bah, and like, oh my God, I can't take it. It'd just be like, it'd be like that painting where, like, God's touching Adam or whatever. He would just, like, place his hand on your shoulder or something, and you'd just be like, oh my God, I know. Like, you know, because, like, it's God. Like, you wouldn't need to be like, so I've written it down, here's a book, you know, chapter 10's a doozy. It wouldn't work like that as far as I could tell. The way it would work would be like, okay, I'm going to open your mind. I'm going to open your eyes to like reality. And then he just like does it. And it'd be like fucking Neo in the Matrix. It'd be like, I know Kung Fu. Like, just be like instantaneous, like awareness of everything, like, you know. And yeah, that like argue, like I can see how some people would go mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw God, and then you just like fucking crazy from now on. But anyway, okay, I've been rambling for 40 minutes. Today's not a rambling stream. I am going to paint today. Don't worry. I smashed the right button, but I will not be held responsible for any repair costs. It's okay. You can't actually be smashed, as far as I know, anyway. Associated with said smashing. Those who smash the right button have a much honor. You don't smash the right button. You slice it. Like it has offended your ancestors. Oh, glorious! What is this now? A royal purple drapery in place of the samurai robe. Explain yourself. Oh, that's hilarious! Like, it's so funny to me, right? I actually find this one more comfortable because it's like soft and shit, and it has it's long enough that it comes down here, so I could kind of just like chill like a guard, you know, like just holding on to his fucking. I'm always doing that. Like I fucking like remember what like Bane did that throughout the entire movie. Bane just like held his arms. It's very comfortable. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever been standing there in a single spot for like a long period of time and you don't know what to do with your hands? You like fold your arms, you put them in your pockets, you put them like none of it's comfortable, like, you know. But if you just have like a scarf or like something or a towel, you know, when you see lads walk out of a sauna and a shower and all, and they're always like, you know, it's very comfortable to have something around your shoulders or your neck area and give it a slight, just grip it and just let your arms hang. And it like straightens your posture and all. Like, I think it's like it really is the really simple, seemingly innocuous shit in life that provides me with like a profound sense of satisfaction. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time I put this on before Bravey Bear got me the bandana. I used to sit here like this, waiting for people. I used to do it on Instagram, like, you know, I'd put the Instagram thing on and I'd wait for people to come in and I'd just be sitting here like this, gripping the bandana, being like, welcome! You know, like, oh, it's hilarious. Anyway, a wonderful and productive weekend did I have. Floor preparations are complete for professional restoration of the original floorboards of the Desmondu estate. Excellent. How goes the joyous moving in occasion? I'm sure it's stressful. I'm sure it's very stressful. Moving into a new home, fucking sanding floors down and all that shit. Yeah, photo dump into the fucking painting gucha. Totally. Your gun safe is glorious. Nicely lined with furt and large in size. Hoppery, my muzzin. The wrongest boomstick fits. Man, I'm so jealous of people who actually have like legit firearms. I'm back playing Far Cry 5 at the moment. Really enjoying it. The guns in that game just like sound and feel and look so fucking good. Like, and there's something incredibly satisfying about like, you know, semi-realistic gunplay in games where like you'd be sitting about 200, 300 meters away from a dude who's just like at a roadblock. He's just standing there with a gun, you know, just guarding the place. And I'm in like a tree line 200-300 meters back with a silenced, like, what would it be, 5.56, like an M4 or some shit with an ACOG scope on it, like, and it just slapped the thing in semi-auto and just put one in his mouth. Like, you see the round mid-flight for like half a second, so you get to hear the click of the, like, you know, the bolt, the receiver and all. Like, all you hear is the slide on the gun, the trigger pull, the slide, and then the, you know, the of the fucking silencer and all. Like, and then you hear you just hear the of it hit the round hitting him in the distance, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, especially when you don't hit them in the head. Like, I've shot people in the ass for the crack, like, at a distance. And sometimes when you miss or whatever, you get a glancing shot. But, like, they could be, like, mid-run, and you hit them in the hip and something, like, and all you hear is, like, and then right after that, you'll hear, like, and they're like, ah, and they fall over. It's very like, it's realistic, you know. It's not real. Obviously, it's not real. But there's like, you know, there's some mil sims out there, military simulators. If you don't know what mil sim means, there's some mil sims out there that are like genuinely like really accurate, like in a lot of ways, in terms of like the range distances and guns, the, you know, the bullet physics, like all the visuals, everything, particle effects, like fucking how the actual like lethal radius of grenades and explosions and all these fucking things, like, you know. Far Cry 5 isn't that level of realistic. It's still a video game. It still has like very blockbuster action elements and stuff, but they keep enough of the realism that it gives real weight and like satisfaction to the gunplay, and it's fucking brilliant. Like I got my hands on the 4570, the lever action. It's like a Winchester, like, do you know what I mean? And it's fucking gorgeous. Like a helicopter came over the crest of a hill, and it's in these like beautiful American countryside where there's like, you know, it's like the Rocky Mountains. That's like the only thing in my head that I could like describe. It's, you know, loads of evergreen trees, lots of big, tall, spiky trees, dark green, and then like semi-arid, like you've got like lots of rock, but then lots of grass as well, lots of long grass, and then big huge boulders leading up into mountains that are peaked with like snow and shit. And you had this steep cliff edge that, as I was coming through a valley, and a fucking enemy, like one of them cult choppers, the bad guys in the game, like, you know, are flying over in the choppers, two of them in the chopper, one of them looking around with a gun and the other one flying it. And he's like, he's down there, and I was like, oh shit, he's after spotting me. And I just looked up, and I had a rifle scope on the lever action 4570, and I was just like, wait for it. And he turned around to face the helicopter turrets towards me, and the second I got a look at the cockpit, I just went bang, and he just, as I cocked it, another round in. The round I let fly connected with the windscreen, went in the cockpit windscreen, took him out, and your man, the gunner, like, was like, oh god, it just spiraled epically out of control and crashed about 100 meters away from me. And it's like, there's moments like that in the game where you're just like, oh my god, that was fucking, like, that's about as real as it gets, while still being, like, you know, over the top and entertaining and shit. Like, loads of fun, loads of fun. Like, the Far Cry games are still solid. I didn't play 6, but 5's really good, 4 was really good, and 3 was really good. And I did get a lot of crack out of Far Cry Instincts Predator. I didn't actually play 2 that much. A lot of people love 2. A lot of people really give a big shout out to 2, and I can see why, because like back then it was like, mechanically it was like fucking unreal, the way the fire would spread through a field, and just like brilliant. Like, FYI, it looks like that Thai temper is flipping me the bird with both hands. The second I looked at it, the thing is just like, oh, that's hilarious. Oh, you're welcome. I love my temple. You leave my temple alone. My temple can flip you the bird all at once. It's beautiful. What did you say to that temple to piss it off? I kind of want to do a temple like that now, but like make it like really obvious. You know, one of them Aztec things or an Egyptian thing where you have like actual statues on the front and stuff, and you just have one of these statues that's just like, we must make our great pilgrimage to the temple of Inawakek and offer a blood sacrifice to the great god Imoganda. And then you just like hundreds of them, and they get there, and it's just a temple of a god, just like, leave your sacrifice on the plate and back the fuck up. Like, oh man, it'd be so fucking funny to do like a cartoon, even a live action, like actual actors and shit. It'd be so funny to do a skit show of like just just take the utter piss out of like every known religion and cult. And I know it would be kind of sketchy and dangerous when you got to like the Muslims, like, do you know what I mean? It's but I don't understand. Like I get the whole like, you know, graven images thing, you know, mockery and stuff. But like I don't see why you couldn't have a play of like, well, what if Muhammad, you know, was in this scenario and did this and said something funny or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get why Muslims would be like, no, never, you cannot do nothing, even if it's funny. It's like, really? Like, Jesus, chill the fuck out. Like, I mean, there's a reason you guys live in the desert. Like, there's a whole mystery behind God that we don't know of for sure. Oh yeah, I mean, like, fucking, that's why everybody's still arguing over it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think is so funny about religion. In general, like, that's what I find so funny about religion in general, and the whole concept of like different religions and like ideologies and all this shit is like, none of you have, well, like, I can't say that for sure, because God only knows what they have locked away in the Vatican and shit like that, like, you know. But like, nobody has a like, they claim to. I mean, from what I've heard, the Orthodox Christians are like, well, our lineage goes back to, you know, Christ himself and all this. Our books say we are the special boys. Yeah, okay. Nobody has like a fucking concrete, like, you know, even with the Christians, like, you know, allegedly this is the spear that pierced his side and all. It's like, it's all bullshit, like, in my humble opinion. Okay, it's an opinion. I'm not saying this is fact. Fucking algorithm bullshit. In my opinion, I see a pattern where like all of this shit comes from the same entity that is trying to convince you of like of one of the two false binaries. Either you need to be saved by another omnipotent entity that is the only thing that can take it on, which I suppose in a sense makes, you know, sense. In a way that makes total sense, because it's like, you can't fight, you know, software with hardware. You need to fight software with software, you know. So like, you can't, you know, like Owen would say, you can't kill evil. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be like just like slapping at a pool of water in an attempt to kill it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, it's a thing. It's like almost like an element. You know, like, it's like a fundamental building block to reality, in my opinion. Like, you know, like, that's why I love the yin and yang thing. It's like, I have a feeling that like there's either one or two things, like something developed or showed up or like just burst forth from some kind of like a big bang kind of theory. I don't know, but how do you get something from nothing? But then you can make the God argument. He's like, he's God, he can make himself. It's like, I don't know. Like, I've seen some crazy supernatural shit in my own life. I've seen like some creepy shit. I've never seen anything crazy or supernatural, but I used to have some fucked up dreams. But then you could, like, you know, that could just like, you could logically and rationally argue that away as like, okay, well, you shouldn't have been watching those movies from such a young age. That's your parents', you know, irresponsibility taking place. So you have all these like images like burnt into your mind and stuff like that. And then when you get traumatized, or if you're like, you know, fucking in a subconscious REM sleep state, and then your brain's just like filtering through all this shit, and it's not like you can converse with your own mind, you know, and ask it, is like, did that actually happen? Is this real? Is that bitch, you know, who's like standing at the foot of my bed, you know, fucking covered in black stuff, gripping the bars of my bed, making a squeaky noise, is that real? It's like, you just have to like interpret it yourself, like, do you know what I mean? And then there's the whole thing of like talking to other people about it. It's like, so yeah, I'm getting these dreams where like this like demon lady's showing up in my room. Like, it's like, take these pills and call me later. Like, do you know, it's like, there's this whole, that the secular and then the believers. Do you know what I mean? And like, I am a believer, but I don't know what I believe in. Like, I'll totally admit that. Like I've no idea. It's a vague fog of uncertainty and fucking like just fantastical madness in a lot of ways. Like, but I think that's the point. Is like, if you knew, there'd be no point in faith. You know, so like that's why you have to have faith, and like that's what I've discovered in my personal experience. Is like there's like a feeling, there's like a frequency, a vibe, right? And I had it today. I've had it the last few days actually. You start seeing 33s all over the place again. It's like, what's going on? Oh, gross. When you're on the path, you can notice it. And then you can notice it when you're not on the path. That's what I've noticed. Like, is there's this like, and it's like, yeah, it's like, I sound like I'm talking absolute bollocks, but like if you've experienced it, you know what I'm talking about. Where you be going along through life, and everything just seems to be clicking and working, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, do you know what I mean? And then you might have a bad day, or like you'll succumb to like, you know, fear, doubt, despair, depression, like any of these things, and then all of a sudden it starts creeping back in, like, do you know? And it's like, is that it? It's just how I feel. That's it. And I can choose to feel a different way. Like, do you know? It's like, so it's a choice. How do you choose to feel not angry when you're angry? It's bewildering when you first think about it. It's like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, if I'm feeling an emotion, I'm feeling it. I just have to like go through it. Like, do you know? It's like chemical. I'm gonna feel angry for a while, and then I'm gonna calm down, and then I'm gonna feel better. Or like something make me laugh or some shit. But like, that's not necessarily true. The same way that you can like consciously choose to not do something physical or do something physical, you can consciously choose. You become aware, like that third person shit I was talking about. Like, you can become aware of the actual sensation of anger, the sensation of fear, the sensation of jealousy, the sensation of envy, the sensation of lust, gluttony, like all of them. They actually have a particular frequency. That's why they're fucking, you know, depicted as their own distinct different things, but they all have like, they're under a hierarchy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it makes total sense to me now, because it's like there's also a distinct vibe of like divine, like godlike vibe, like, do you know, and I've like felt it. It's like fucking, it's a good kind of creepy. It's weird, like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's a slightly unsettling what the fuck is going on, followed by a thank you, sorry. Like, that's how, I swear to God, that's how I felt. I felt like immediately being like, thank you for everything, and I'm so sorry for all the bad shit I did. You know, like, because it's this like like, and like, I totally get why some people are like, when God puts, or when Jesus comes into your life, or when God puts his hand on your shoulder, like, you will never be able to say, like, that's totally true. Like, something happened to me where I was like, okay, this is next level weird, you know? And like, sure, you could argue that like seeing 33s and all this stuff, it's like, I get it. Like, everybody has their opinions, everybody has their fucking, you know, interpretations, notions, you know. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just like fucking speaking my mind, like, do you know what I mean? But how funny is it that we live in a time where it's like somebody just genuinely speaking their mind without fear of like being judged, or like, because that's what I'm doing right now. I don't have any fear, I don't have any despair, I don't have any of that. Like, so you guys listening to me and watching me, like, sure, I look hilarious or whatever. Like, you're like, I like this. Because that's how I feel like when I'm watching something like Owen or Chris or Tom, like Chris Gardner or Tom Barnett, or fucking, like, I'm talking about these people as if they're my friends, like, do you know what I mean? But it's funny in this community where like we all just like hop between the same set of people, and then every so often the circle grows, like, do you know. I think that's why shit is getting so out of hand, because the tides are turning. I swear to God, I think like I think that's what's happening, is like the demons are getting real, like, they're like chomping at the bit. They're like really ratty. They're like, they're not happy right now. I could feel it. It's like, because COVID had like, you know, such a drastic effect of like, yeah, it fucked up a lot of people and it was really bad and stuff. But like, I think they overreached in a sense, because like a lot of people now are like, okay, what the fuck's going on? You know? Now, don't get me wrong, that that could very well be the strategy of like, okay, you let most people get to this level of awareness. You know, the whole what's it called? Like planned, like planned revealing, or like there's a term for it where they're gradually spoon feeding you the truth in very select bites, so that you will like, they're basically dropping breadcrumbs, you know, for you to be like, ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece of candy, ooh, piece of candy. Is that Satan? Like, I think that's how all this is going. Is like they're gonna like, he's gonna like, it. I think it's trying to, yeah, maybe that's it. I think it might think that it has enough of them now. You know, like since COVID and all the trans shit and all this stuff, like I think it might think that it has enough of them. It's infected enough thing. It's got the media, it's got the music, it's got the cameras, it's got fucking like it's everywhere. You know? To a degree, it's in everyone and everywhere. So it's got its claws in. So what does it do now? Now it starts building an army out of what it has corrupted, you know? And you can see it happening. People are getting like 7 levels higher of crazy, you know? Like some mad shit's going on. And like, it's like all the time. A lot of it is probably not even real. But the point of it is that like people believe it's real. You know? And like that's how this fucker works, is like, it doesn't matter if it's not, like, it's all an illusion. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all manipulation. It's all influence. It's like, all I have to do is get them to be afraid. You know? And if I can't get them to be afraid, I'll get them to be horny or hungry or, you know, jealous, you know, like, or angry, like, you know, because if I can get them to do one of the bottom ones, then I can slowly work them. Do you know what I mean? It's like reverse wheat from chaff. It is the inversion. Instead of sifting gold out of the dirt, you know, to find beauty and perfection and persistence and like long-term shit, permanence, right? You're doing the opposite. You're agitating to create chaos, and like it's going to get to a boiling point where you can turn it to your advantage. Like it's weird. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I've like, even like I've gotten these feelings sometimes where I'm like, Jesus Christ, like it's something huge is going to happen. But it's like always just like, here's another day and another day and another day. So it's like, okay, they want you to believe that something huge is going to happen because that's what they want. You know, I really wouldn't be surprised if there is like some fucking like, oh my god, aliens are real and they're here, and I'm just kind of be like, yeah, okay. It's like this whole 7D chess thing, like, I don't know, like I think there's definitely, like, obviously there's a definite reality to, like, you know, being 6 moves ahead of your opponent in chess or whatever. And the chessboard is like black and white and all. They could actually represent fucking Satan and God and shit, like, you know, fucking moving the pieces. But there also comes a point where I'm like, okay, now it's just fucking convoluted. Like, you know, like there has to be just like a fucking, at the end of all this, a singular purpose to it all. And from what I can tell, it's just a game. Which is probably why it's described as the Divine Comedy. You know, comedy and tragedy and all. It's like, because like for us pawns who have no idea that they're actually in a game, there's like horrifying trauma. But if you know you're playing a game and you're just like, oh, I'm a pawn, and you just like act with gratitude, be like, you want me to move over there? Okay. You know, like, you have like a positive attitude, like, and like you get slain halfway across the board or whatever, and you're like, yeah, well, at least I died, you know, for a noble purpose or whatever. Like, it's belief. It's the same thing. Like, you know, it's like, and some pawns get to the other end of the board and they become something better, and it's like, oh, now I have more power on the board. Like, it's like, versus the other thing of like, what? This is all a game? Oh my god, no! Like, you know, it's like, every avenue, every like milestone you get to is just another choice, another choice, another diversion choice. Like, it's weird, like this never-ending cycle of like, am I going the right way? But there's so many ways to go, but those ways are obviously bad. But there's some truth in them, you know. It's like following rabbit holes to get nuggets and stuff of truth, only to like come out of a rabbit hole covered in scars, and there's like bits of your soul missing, and you're just like, it was worth it. I got this much truth. Like, it's like, yeah, but you spent the last 4 years fucking fighting demons. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, like, maybe God just wants you to just like play your part and be content. Like, do you know what I mean? Because from what I can see is like there's like no fucking point in trying to wake people up. They either freak out or they like they'll either freak out or they'll just like completely shut down and like, nah, you know. Some of them, like every so often you'll come across one that's like, oh no way, and it's like you're pulling someone out of the fucking Matrix like Neo. Like I have a friend like that who's like totally with it, you know, totally with the vibe, as Owen would say, he gets it, you know. And I remember meeting back up with him there a few years ago, and it was fucking fantastic because it was like we had all of our old memories, and so much had happened in between, but we were like the same people, you know. Like, that's what I think he said. That it was like we're like the same, you know, like we're still us, whereas like other people had like changed. And like, how funny is that? It's like there's the concept of like, oh, like people never change. What if that's a good thing? Is that not like a divine state? Is like consistency? Do you know what I mean? It's just like the same forever. Like, depending on the context, that would like be incredibly tempting, you know. Or like, what if I could just get, you know, that sensation when you bite into a chocolate bar? What if you could just feel that forever? Like, you know, some people, there'd be people out there be like, yeah, like permanent Kit Kat. Like, you know, it's fucking, I don't know. I should probably do some painting. While of the bears and Japanites, we are from many different religious backgrounds, but we can still laugh together and discuss the gravy without innuendo or judgment. Yeah, like, you know, it's like it's a genuine diversification of thought and cultures and stuff where like we willingly be like, okay, so what do you think? Well, I think this. All right, like, get why you think X, Y, and Z, but like, what about this? Like, and then like it's just pinball bouncing off each other. And every couple of minutes or every couple of hours or days or months or whatever, like there's like this revelation of like, oh no way, like connect this dot to that dot and all, like, which if you look at it, it makes sense that they would like if you tell someone to not do something, they will want to do it, you know. And it's the same, like there's that Buddhist thing of like I can't remember what the term for it was, but it's like force. I remember talking about it before on the stream before. It's like if you push something too far, it'll fucking bring all the energy back at you, and if you pull something to you too much, it'll eventually go way away from you, you know. So that's the whole, you know, the push and pull of the universe and energies and all. It's like it applies in many contexts. It could apply in like your everyday life, where if you're trying to force something, like if you try to force a joke, you know, it's like, I want this to be funny, I want people to laugh, and like you force it so much that like you just embarrass and humiliate yourself, and now everybody thinks you're a weirdo. You know, it's like forcing certain things to happen can be like utterly catastrophic given the context, like, you know. And it's the same as well. It's like holding on to something and protecting something like you think it's going to go away from you. It's like, well, maybe you should let it go. And then you get into, you know, trauma and healing and feelings and memories and all this fucking like ancestral memories and all this fucking shit. It all connects together in this beautiful tapestry of like symmetry and meaning, and everything has its place. And it's just been like shat on and coffee thrown on it and like ripped and like covered up, like, you know, torn off the wall, buried, covered in fucking 6 feet of dirt, like, because they know how powerful it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, did that fucking, like, you know, when you like open a door and like you think of like how many times have you seen that like scene in a movie or a video game or anything, right, where there's like a dark room full of rats or something, you know, and then somebody like busts open the door and the light comes in from one point, the door opening or a window being uncovered, like, you know, and then all of a sudden light is in the room and all the spiders and creepy crawlies and rats just like and like run into the corners and holes. There's no stopping it. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no stopping it, like, and they know that, which is hilarious to me, because if the whole little season thing is true, then like, you know, to me it makes like Satan out to be like a fucking like absolute loser. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like fucking Jesus rules for 1,000 years, builds all this amazing shit, and then goes, "Okay, Satan, your turn." And Satan's like, "Oh yeah," you know, just makes a fucking dumpster fire of the place, and it's like, "Isn't this great? We can do whatever we want, whenever we want, with whoever we want, why ever we want," and all, like. And there's a few demons, you know, being like, "Yeah, this is fucking awesome." Like, while the rest of us are like, this is horrible. Like, it's just so funny to me sometimes, where you get that meta view of like, you know, it's, I don't know. I just think of like shit like that, where it's like, I think it's really funny that like there's all these people called influencers now, you know, and a lot of them you would look at and they literally like embody demons, you know. Like when I see these bitches with these fucking nails, these fake nails, especially these black bitches, like, do you know, these fake fucking claws are like 6 inches long, like, do you know, I'm like, why? Fake eyelashes, fake nails, fake hair. It's like, you're literally, it's a costume. It's like you've gone beyond trying to just like adorn the turd that is you, you know, with trinkets to make it look better. You've gone beyond that. Now you've literally placed the turd in like a fucking bodysuit, you know, like, and you're walking it around like it's a pretty girl. Like, still smells like shit, bitch. Oh god. Not bollocks, totally true. When on the straight and narrow, your sight is widened and focused. Reverse when we fall off. Yeah, like sometimes I just like feel like I'm like, today I feel like I'm totally with it, which is mad because like I don't know why, you know, because like I haven't worked out in like fucking nearly a week again. But then again, I think about like when I took a week off recently, I felt great after, you know. And they like, if think about it, if God takes a rest on day 7, like if an supposedly omnipotent, like supernatural, like a fucking god, you know, an immortal being rests. Has anyone ever spoken about that at great, like why does God need to rest? He's God. He's a fucking, like, he made everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? So like that tells me that God does have a limit. Why would he rest? Do you know what I mean? Like, if he was truly like all powerful and all, like if I was God and I was truly all powerful and I made a creation, I wouldn't rest. I would make more and more and more and more and more, like, do you know what I mean? And be infinite. But it isn't. Seemingly it's finite in many ways, you know? So like, God's probably finite and God's powers are probably finite. And that's probably how all this works, is like there are rules to existence. Do you know what I mean? It makes sense, you know? It's just fascinating. Like, just my mind is on fire the last like week or so, just with like all this symbolism and the theories of different religious views and like, you know, some people genuinely believe that, like, and like I'm not far off that belief myself, that like the Bible is like literal historic fact in a lot of ways. Part of me believes that, like, do you know what I mean? But then part of me also believes that like a shit ton of it is just metaphor and allegory for things that do really happen in our realm, but that are still quite, like, I think a good word to describe what actually happens in our real lives apart from all the magician bullshit that like wankers pull, is phenomenon. You know, because you just don't know what it is. You might think it's magic. You might think it's like fucking Dragon Ball Z levels of fucking superhuman being shit. But like, what if it isn't? You know, like if you never saw, a scorpion, and then all of a sudden somebody put like an emperor, whatever they're called. I think they're called emperor scorpions, like the big, huge black ones you see. They just put one in front of you. A lot of people would be like, demon! You know, like, what the alien? What the fuck is that thing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. It looks like a spider. It looks like a crab. Do you know what I mean? But you could argue that thing's like a fucking Satan-made hybrid between a crab and a snake. Do you know what I mean? Like, scorpions are mad. Like, think about the complete bullshit supposed logic of like scientists turning around being like the Big Bang and then evolution and then all of these things just happen. It's like, so a hummingbird's tongue and the way it wraps around the inside of its skull, a human being's eye, forget a human being's eye, an eagle's eye. Did you know that like an eagle's eye has like, so like there's 2 points typically on our eyes that are like apex points where the light actually hits and causes angles that allow the eye to like, you know, perceive depth and all this shit, allegedly, right? Eagles apparently have 3 apex points where they can actually zoom in on things from a distance. You know, like, but you don't get that from chaos. I'm sorry. No, like, it doesn't matter how much time you have. You'll get some shit. Don't get me wrong. You'll get some shit. Like, you know, in quotes, shit. Like, if you just have, like, and maybe, like I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually how everything began. In the beginning, originally, like, in the beginning, there was chaos. Just fucking nothing in a sense, because like there was stuff there, but it was completely indiscernible from each other or itself. It's just this mesh of color, and you don't even know what color is. Like, you know, it's like, it's just chaos. Like, you know, and then God shows up and is like, okay, I'm gonna order this place. I'm gonna put these over here. I'm going to move these over here. I'm going to take these. I'm going to put them over there. I'm going to take these. I'm going to slap them together. And I'm going to make one of these. And then fucking like a baby with a lot of Play-Doh. You know? Mad shit. Do you think we are all family and not strangers? On a level. To a degree. I think we all have common ancestry. Like, if you, like, the further you go back, I think the closer we get together. Especially if you think Babylon actually happened. You know? I think, like, if you go way back, we were, like, I don't know. The whole Adam and Eve thing, like, I don't really believe that, like, because if you take it literal in that sense, then it's all incest, like, you know. But then they mentioned that there's other people in the realm. So I don't, like, genetically, like, on a fucking, I don't even know what genetically means, like, do you know what I mean? Like, fucking the whole thing of, like, what is an atom, what's DNA, like, all this fucking shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, how much have we been lied to about, you know? Because when you look at stuff like cymatics, and how sound and frequency work, and then like that line out of like Lord of the Rings and Narnia, where in Lord of the Rings, Iluvatar, which is very close to like, you know, illumination, or, you know, illustrious, like all these like things to do with light, illustration even, which is to create something, to draw something. Iluvatar created like the known like Middle Earth or whatever with a song, right? The same thing happens in Narnia, where Aslan sings Narnia into existence, you know? And all this talk of like all these ancient buildings, you know, in a sense, being sound manifested into physical reality. Like, we have been taught, we have been influenced in such a way that, like, you could totally argue that, like, we don't even know what the fuck we are. Like, or how any of this works. Like, there's people out there still are, like, to this day, there are people, like, arguing over the shape of the human heart. How is that a thing? How is that a thing? How many people have died? How many cameras are there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, go to a fucking morgue. Like, why don't you just put an actual human heart on the telly? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how there's still people arguing over fundamental stuff, and that's on both sides. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's the people who believe that, like, the whole transgender thing is, like, totally okay. They would be saying the same thing that I'm saying right now from the other point of view. Do you know? They would be like, "Oh, you're just ignorant. You don't realize that, like, you know, women can be born with penises and men can be born with wombs." And I'm just sitting there going, "Huh, demon?" Like, they think the same thing of us. Like, they're like, "Look at you with your symmetrical face and your beautiful red beard. I hate you. You and your truth. You and your logic and your rationality. Burn, heretic." It's like, relax there. You know, like, you know something's up when something responds to you with such vitriol. Like, do you know what I mean? That's why I love Owen, because it is kind of like a fucking... I've done that. I've been that kind of, like, autistic, retarded person, seemingly, in the group who just asks a question, and everyone's like, "Oh, how dare you?" Like, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just, come on, nobody's thinking this, really?" Like, like, you're all a bunch of fucking liars. Oh, it's back up, is it? Yeah, I went to go onto it last night to watch. What was I gonna watch? I think I had a plan in mind. I was gonna watch. Oh, they made another Rambo in 2019, didn't they? And I haven't seen that yet. So I was gonna watch that one, but then the loading thing came up. I was like, "Oh fuck, I'll just switch on YouTube." I've been binging. Like, the female would be sitting there playing Sims or something, like, so she's kind of like half watching them. But I've been binging like 2-hour compilations of cops dealing with Karens, fucking you know, pedophiles being caught on, like, body cam, pedophiles being caught by, like, what you call them, vigilantes and stuff. Mad stuff, like, do you know what I mean? But it's all very real, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've almost gotten up an obsession, kind of like, just experiencing real stuff, which is, like, I think insanely common these days. I think that's why loads of people like Owen so much. Like, whatever about being a comedian, whatever about being a, in quotes, truther, do you know, it's like, you just catch that vibe of, like, he's not bullshitting me. Do you know what I mean? And, like, that's the same vibe I'm cultivating here, is because I totally think that's, like, a thing that's needed in today's society, is, like, I'm not trying to sell you anything apart from my art. Like, that's a complete lie. I am trying to sell you my art. But, like, I'm not trying to, like, well, I suppose you could argue I'm trying to sell you an idea as well. I'm trying to, like, well, no, I'm not trying to sell it to you. I'm just sharing that that's my point of view. I'm not actually, like, I don't have a fucking cult or a book or a fucking religion. So I'm not actually selling my perspective. I'm just sharing it and relating and stuff like that. But I am definitely trying to sell you something. I'm trying to sell you my art. I can't say that, like, without, like, lying in a sense. Like, should I? I'm not trying to sell you anything he says while, like, painting stuff and has links in the description. But you know what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to, like, I'm not peddling something in it. Like, well, peddling's just selling, isn't it? It's like, I'm trying to find what's the word? You know, like, yeah, I'm not deceiving you. That's what it is. You know, I'm not deceiving you. I'm not deceiving anyone. You know, what you see is what you get, kind of, because I'm not actually a half Japanese demigod. But, like, so I'm kind of lying. I don't, like, trying to be 100% honest gets fucking mind-numbingly confusing really quickly. So I'm just going to place my royal rag on my demi-divine knee, and I'm going to put some tunes on, and for the last 35 minutes of Paintingu, I am going to put some shading on this man of Nickle. Nickle man. I can attest to the same when I stumble. The further you choose to stray from your personal divine path, the less you can discern. Yeah, it's like you just start... The fog of evil starts to come in. And, like, just really fucks up your shit. Like, anger's my big one. I don't really... Like, I did despair for a while a few years ago. Like, I fucking had... I contemplated suicide. So I definitely did have despair. I have had despair. But typically despair is not, like, the thing that gets me. The thing that gets me is wrath. I have a lot of wrath. You can see it in my physiognomy, you know. I have that almost permanently furrowed brow, you know. But it's not just for, like, it's not just wrath, it's pain, you know. Like, emotional pain and physical pain. I'm just like, oh, you know, like. But I think, like, it is a blessing in a sense, like, you know, like, they're all like, we all have our own lessons to learn. We all have our own stats that we're given at birth, you know. Like, he gives you strengths and weaknesses, but I think your weaknesses are actually hidden strengths. Do you know? Well, not hidden. They're like, if you're smart about it, and you really, like, level up spiritually, your weaknesses can become almost, like, greater than your strengths, you know. Yeah, I'm definitely way too. I'm drowning in gravy, as Big Bear would say. Perhaps we are of a spiritual family, and if we have a choice to partake in this realm, we lost part of our spiritual senses when we enter the physical. Yeah, I think our memory gets wiped. I think that's how this all works, and it's fair. Is our memory gets wiped when we come here, when we choose to come here. I think we choose to come here, and I think we choose to come here for a purpose. I don't think it's like, you know, do you want to go to France or do you want to go to China? I don't think it's like one of these things where it's just like we're these etheric beings and we're just like, oh, do you know what would be really fun if we materialized for a while? I think there's like a purpose to this place and this experience. And I think I think I've probably been here before. I've gotten weird feelings. I don't have any memories. I've never, like... Well, I don't know. I mean, I've had some wild dreams where I'm like, did that happen? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, is that a memory from, like, a different time in a different place in a different life? Like, I've had that thought before where, like, some of my dreams, I'm like, when I go to sleep, am I waking up as me in another version of me in another place? You know? And then that one dies or something. Like, like I only recently described this. Like, I was playing playing Dying Light with Desmondu and his better half. About dreams and how real they can be and stuff. And I got shot in the neck. And it was only a while ago. It was like maybe a year ago. It was one of the most intense dreams I've ever had in my life. I was in a shootout in a bar that looked vaguely familiar. It looked like like a lot of buildings that I'm in my dreams. They are like an amalgamation, a combination of places I have been to, but then also bits added on from places I don't feel like I've been to, like I don't feel familiar with at all. I remember being in this like really opulent toilet. Like, I went into a bathroom and it was like marble floors, gold trimming, huge sink, you know, marble sink, marble floor, marble walls, just gold and white and like, you know, veins of black and shit. Like, it's like fucking, you know, proper mansion style toilet. And then I don't know how I ended up in the bar. I don't even know if that, I can't remember if that was the same dream, but like, it feels like it was around the same time period. And I just remember being in the bar, and then a friend from my past came in out of nowhere, and then there was shooting, and then I had a gun, like out of no, like, do you know what I mean? It just like everything just like was happening sequence after sequence. It's like, oh, there he is. Oh, he's shooting. Oh, shit. Oh no. Like, I'm in a gunfight right now. Oh, I have a gun on me. Oh, like, you know, and then I took cover. I think I, like, killed a few people who were, like, faceless, like, enemies or something. But then the person I knew, like, the friend, shot at me. And I was like, oh, shit, he's going to shoot me. Like, I felt that sense of, like, oh, fuck, not you. Like, et tu, brute? Like, I felt betrayed. So I felt that, like, anger and sadness and fear, and I dove out of the way and I shot and I killed him, but he got me in the neck, and I realized it as I hit the ground. And I remember feeling the blood coming out of a hole in my neck, and I remember having this sense, I remember being like aware of that, and like it feeling so real that I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Like, cause it was like I got shot in the fuck, like right here. Like, you know what I mean? It was like pissing out my neck. Like, blood was just like, psst, like, and I could feel it. And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And that's when I woke up. And like, shit like that, you're like, what the fuck are dreams, man? Like, what's going on? Like, it's crazy. Oh shoot, my battery's running low. It was nice being here. Goodbye. So, I wonder if Sarah watches the rest of this and realize, like, Jesus, sometimes he's way behind on the chat. Sarah probably doesn't realize we know each other outside of the stream. Well, if she hangs around long enough, she'll get it. Like, you know. What does it mean to be of sound mind? Perhaps there is more to frequency and vibration than we think. That's a good one. There's some gravy in that. Sound mind. Like, that's a colloquial term here. If you think somebody is like cool, or you know, like a good person, like a nice person, like a, you know, fucking, like other colloquial terms is like, you know, or he gets it, or like, you know, he's cool, or like he's good people. The term we would use here a lot of the times is like, you know, oh, you know, blah blah blah. Oh, he's mad sound, yeah. He's sound, yeah. Or he's dead sound, or like, you know, fucking, he's dead sound. Like, you know, I always think that's so funny. It's like right at the where we are right now with language online, like, you know, the young people or whatever, which is hilarious coming from me because I'm not even 33 yet. The youngsters, they say things like dead ass, you know. No, dead ass means like, no, seriously, like dead ass. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. Shit just makes me laugh. Right. Let's paint. Where's my tunes? Haven't heard this all weekend. Oh yeah. Right. You get 25 minutes of painting, not 35. Just DM me if it's off. Ah! Might end up like disturbing you or something. The fucking time differences are insane. You have the same vibe as Owen. Your vibe is honest, not trying to deceive or corrupt. Yeah, that's like, I wasn't trying to be like, oh no, well, I am selling something. It's like, I'm not deceiving, you know. I'm not like, even though I am playing a character, I'm not. It's weird. Paint. Right. I'm gonna put another layer of silver on this bitch, and then I'm gonna need to darken it up. get these bitches wet.
Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Paint, paint. Painting goo goo goo.
That's barely showing up. Might actually have to add a bit of black into this and then go even darker. Dunno. We'll see what happens. Painting goo goo goo.
Painting goo goo goo. Oh, glorious! Oh. Painting goo 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 goo.
Get that brack in there. Make it darker.
Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. This fucking silver paint is the opposite of opaque. Did the Irish Barrette have her baby okay? Oh yeah, Pruner's missus had the kid, yeah. They called her Anya. Little baby girl called her Anya. It all went well.
Painting goo.
Dead ass is what Defenderoo experiences when doing too much sitting goo. Exactly. Painting goo. Dead ass is the thing I experience daily. You know how I know I have done enough painting goo? When I find myself in the state of dead ass.
Painting goo.
Is your ass dead? Yes, then you have gooed enough, my friend.
Painting goo. PEINTEINGU. 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 Huh.
Not bad. Defender ass and dead ass are interchangeable. Beautiful. Send our love and congrats from the Japanites. I will indeed. The Japanites send their love and support. The who? The what? Never mind. My people send their love. He's on at 3 p.m. today. What's 3? Man, the time zones confuse the fuck out of it. 3 p.m. for him is like what? 6 hours. If he's 6 hours, or is it 8 hours behind me or something? Like, I don't know. What's 3 p.m. EST in GMT? Watch, one of you will put it in the chat before I even type it in. Like, it's like 6. It's like 7 o'clock or something, isn't it? Or something. Dry, you fuck. Ooh. Some fan action. Action fan. Did you guys get Action Man? Surely you guys got Action Man, yeah? Or did you guys get G.I. Joe and we got Action Man? You know? I'm pretty sure Action Man was just like the modern iteration of G.I. Joe, but I could be wrong. I don't know, like... When I was growing up, it was Action Man, and then like some chap called Max Steel, which fucking hilarious name, like Max Steel, Max Payne, Mad Max. 3 p.m. EST would be noon Pacific, and it's presently 8:45 a.m. Pacific. No, I meant GMT. For me, like, Not for you. For me, not for you! I should have just typed it in. Where are you, Max 2? Action Man! I only know G.I. Joe and Max Steel. Action Man, you fuck. Action Man. Oh, that'd be brilliant. Please tell me somebody did that. Like, that's like, if nobody did that in the last few years, that's a missed opportunity. Like, Action Man. Like, somebody just make a 3D printed, like, or they could just get an Action Man doll, like a G.I. Joe or whatever, like, just fucking dress it up in a wig and skirt and call it Action Man. Just have a big fucking try me button on the thing and it just says, "It's man!" Batteries not included. Behold the new Action Man. Comes fully decked out with handbag filled with bricks and an unloaded pistol. Comes fully adorned with trashy tattoos and 5 o'clock shadow. It's man. I'm kind of surprised we're not there yet. You're selling toys of trannies. Oh fuck. 10 p.m. GMT, is it? Grand. Watching when I'm going to bed then. Or am I... If it's that late, I usually leave it till tomorrow and I watch him while I'm doing stuff. Yeah, because the last while he's been doing 11 a.m, hasn't he? And I've been able to catch him at like 6 p.m. So that makes sense. Tell the temple to chill. So aggressive. Part of me wants to make him like even more hand-like. now that I see it, like, oh, that's hilarious. Is it just me or is that temple flipping me the bird? Oh god. That would be so funny in a cartoon if you just had like 2 cartoon characters, like, you know, visiting a foreign country or something, like, come on, let's go visit the temple, blah blah blah, whatever, like, and they get there and they're looking at the map and one of them looks off screen and he's like, oh yeah, we're totally here, this is definitely the temple. And he's like, I don't know, like, how do you know? And he's like, well, I'm pretty sure it's flipping me bird. And the other character looks up and it's just like an Aztec temple with a big head, a big smiling head, and it's like this. It's like... Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, my cheeks are hurting. Oh great, Amabubu, we seek enlightenment, and the thing's just like... Oh. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh, glorious! Ooh. Can taste that tuna melt again. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Fucking playlist slaps, boy. I was only thinking that earlier on that I want to stick on that band, fucking. Oh, they're not even a band or like a group or whatever. Fucking Versatile. I think they kind of sold out. I haven't kept up with them, but they're like Dublin lads. Alright, hell yeah! Like, and they like made like really catchy fucking tunes. They're like, there's like 6 songs that I heard from them a few years ago, and I was like, these guys are deadly, really funny, especially if you're Irish and you understand what they're saying and what they're referencing. But the fucking music slams, it does, like. Add in some subtle finger and knuckle lines. That would be so funny. Yeah, like part of me wants to make it look like the fucking meme, the emote, like maxed out pair with the fucking. Oh my god. Oh, that's hilarious. Maxed out bear has perfectly described, like in a very accurate way, described the Paintingu in emoji form. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Oh, that's hilarious. It's the temple's way of greeting you when you worship. Oh, that's hilarious. Not bad at all. I probably could go darker in some places. Oh, glorious. See you later, Max.
Much appreciate you for joining you, Max.Beru. Photo dump complete.
Okay. I'm gonna knuckle up the temple. I'm gonna make it blatantly apparent that this thing is flipping Stabberu the bird. And then I'm done. Painting goo goo goo, painting a temple, painting a goo goo. Just a smidge of red. Get our orange color. Okay. Need that kind of pale orange. And then I'll darken it.
Thick, gooey white. I rub it.
Speaking of rubbing things, buy a t-shirt. Hold on a sec. Can I frame this? Where's the...
Riv, Raff, Ruff. Painting.
Click the link in the description to buy your own very Defenderoo's face on a t-shirt. That's why I already thought about people who'd be like, dude, you're wearing a t-shirt with your own face. It's not my face. It's Defenderoo's face. It's not my face. I am not a half Japanese demigod. He is. Painting. I have a pain in the hole to get that particular shade of yellow again. It's that fucking kind of mustard raw sienna colour. Painting goo 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 goo. Getting there.
Painting goo, 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 goo.
Okay, well I've got the dark shade. Oh, I love my job. Do this, it'd be hilarious. Okay, yeah. Does it. I'm not even finished yet, and it looks hilarious. Oh, fucking hell. Might not be here much this week. Hope to catch a few. Maybe going visit my folks. Oh yeah. You said you're on vacation, yeah? I thought you were. Part of me was like, did you take time off? Did you take time off just to play Hitman? You should. But yeah, you're going visiting the folks, are you? You will have an incredible amount of honor lost. You know, when you return from your vacation, you will need to pay so much. You can't pay your honor away, can you? Pay your dishonor away. Paying for painting good works. Pay for painting good. Pay for paint. Pay for paint. Oh god. Like, it's essentially the same thing, like. Like, pay your gay away. Like, if you don't pay for painting you have no honor. Like, that's some claim, like. Painting goo goo goo. There will be some Hitman happening post-stream. Hand rubbing ensues. Are you enjoying it? Yeah, it's a great game. Great game. Agent 47. Diana is your handler, Diana. There's loads of truth drops in Hitman. Loads. You know, genetic, military genetic fuckery. Like, historical assassinations, like all sorts of mad shit.
Paint, paint! Somebody has a paid for painting goo! Glorious!
Oh, you're doing it early?
My holiday honor shall remain intact! Yeah!
Domo! Your contribution to Painting Goo is greatly appreciated, Stavro. Enjoy your horror days.
Painting goo. Painting goo.
Is that better?
Pay your dishonor away or become negative on your honor scale.
I need to learn how to do like pop-up things on the stream and stuff, because I think it'd be fucking hilarious if like somebody hasn't paid for Painting Goo in a while and I could just point them out on the street, put the name up on the thing and have like a bar and like honor and just be like do.
You have not paid for Painting Goo in over 3 months. You lose honor.
and just like do. Like I'd love to get like way more like Jap about it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it'd be hilarious. I'd love to have a fucking a little animation of a guy committing seppuku. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just comes up on screen, kills himself, and like comes off. Brilliant. Like, just like a tiny little 8-bit animation of a guy committing seppuku and falling over, like something like from like Mortal Kombat 1 or something, like, you know. Sent a picture of baby Arya in the TG chat, watching the goo with me while listen with the headphones on. You let your child listen to this? I suppose it's not like I'm not that bad, you know. I occasionally curse, but I'm a hell of a lot better than fucking Peppa Pig or some shit. Like, Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo. Although I am painting like to fucking avert your eyes, child.
Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo. Painting Goo Goo.
Right, yeah, that's pretty spot on. But don't get me wrong, they kind of look like weird flower things. Like the knuckles are a bit off. It's because the spike was in the middle. Like, and I know it's the middle finger, but like the structure of a hand's fucking mad hard. If anything, it's funnier that they didn't turn out that way. It definitely looks like the thing's flipping you the bird now. Oh fuck. Right, I think we're done here. Sign this bitch. That's true, yeah. Like you said, the vibe coming off my stream is like not demonic, so like your child's not gonna like your child's not gonna watch it and then have nightmares later. Hopefully, anyway. Like, no, not the top knot. It's so fucking erratic. Right, sign this bitch. Yeah, you're making me now every time I say like now every time I curse I'm like fuck. Like that bit out of Anchorman. Right, my beloved Japanites, and all you other filthy mortars. This concludes today's episode of PEINTEINGU. I hope you have enjoyed Ingu. I know I did. I shall return. Same time, same place, same high-octane painting energy, and maybe some ranting and rambling. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. GMTU. Be there, or your ancestors will look upon you with great shame. In the meantime, be good,
Be true, and be beautiful. Click one of the many links in the description, so that you can pay for painting goo. Well, you don't have any honor, do you? Right. See you again, 30 mortars.